Well, it's a while since you had any update from me, and we've quite a few things to cover off. But since we've reopened our stores mid-April, we've traded really well. We're really pleased with what you've achieved in the stores. I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and commitment. I'm not saying life's easy at the moment. It definitely isn't easy, but compared with a lot of retailers, we're doing really well. Another important fact is that as the shops have traded well, our internet site has settled down to still double 2019's turnover. So we're doing well in the shops and we're doing well on the web. So your business is in good shape. We've rebounded really well after being closed for nearly 7.5 months in the last 14. And I just think that people's consumer habits, buying habits have changed because they're buying more on the web, but it could just be that we've got more people who now use the entertainer. We attracted more people during lockdown. During the last 2 weeks, we've seen a bit of a softening off. We've doing particularly well with fidget poppers. You know, 2 weeks ago, we busted through 50,000 fidget poppers in 1 week. It's leveled down to about 40,000 now. Some of the key ones are out of stock, but there's lots and lots of new designs coming in. So don't give up on that yet. And even this week, you've started a buy 2 for £5 promotion on all of the boxed RMS fidget poppers. So something really to get behind. Why would anybody buy one popper when for just £1 more they can have 2? So hopefully it will double our level of sales and take more money. And I can also see that over the last couple of weeks, there's been a real fire back into our demoing and our impulse lines, those focus lines. Some of the volumes that are coming through on that Blossom toy that we're selling. I know it's £1, but sell as many as you can because I think they're going up to £2 in a week's time. Now, your safety. Freedom Day was earlier this week, but I'm asking myself what changed? What changed on Monday that made life any more safe than it was last Friday and Saturday and Sunday? And the answer is absolutely nothing has changed. If anything, if you look at the statistics, you could say that the coronavirus is becoming more prevalent. More people are being tested positive. So we have reviewed our safety guidelines for COVID. The same team that have guided this business week in, week out over the last 18 months continually meet and review our safety guidelines. And these are the changes that we're making. Absolutely none. Your safety is as important today to us as it has been for the last 18 months. So I still want to encourage, where possible, to socially distance. I still want you to encourage you to wash your hands on a regular basis. I still want to encourage you to wear masks. And not just at work, but to keep your work colleagues safe. Maybe some of those precautions at work are also important to carry into your private lives. Secondly, jabs. I don't know how many of you have had your first or your second jabs, but I would encourage you to get a jab. The point is, there's nobody else in this business that's more concerned about injections than me. Absolutely nobody. I'm the biggest baby in town. I've had both my jabs. But what I can tell you is the thought of having it's a damn sight worse than actually having the jab. They are really kind. They will appreciate if you're nervous, if you're concerned. So if you've been holding back, not right sure about having a jab for your own health and safety, I really want to encourage you. And it will also could well have a benefit to your work colleagues and to your family. Customer service. Customer service is as important today, both to win back and retain our customers, as it's been for our last 40 years. It's really critical that we demonstrate that shops can offer something far more than the web can offer. And I know since reopening, since we celebrated reopening, that customer service has been front of mind for you all. Let's not drop that back. That's why we're doing so much better than so many others. Look at last week's headlines. The mighty John Lewis's 1,000 job cuts. John Lewis's. Well, why are they failing? I just don't think they're engaged with their customers quite as much as you guys engage with our customers. Thank you for the way you approach people, welcome people, and show people product. But retail has changed, and staffing levels will never go back to the levels that we had pre-pandemic or even 5 or even 10 years ago. The internet has skimmed off 20 to 25% of all sales. And unless costs go down, if sales go down, the economics don't work. So costs will continually need to be reviewed, and one of our biggest costs is labour. But as you know, we've laid nobody off. Nobody's made redundant the entertainer. Yes, we have reviewed hours, and those hours will come through natural wastage. It does mean there's more responsibility and more work for those that are left, but we have still got a job. We have still got a business that's still going to survive the pandemic. A year ago, I couldn't have been that confident, but we will survive this pandemic and we will grow our successful business. So we do have challenges. The entertainer is not immune for what's going on in the high street as retailers around us still close. And I still think we're going to see further casualties later this year. So we are going to continue to challenge our costs, not just on labour, but all costs. Everything we need to think twice about, do we really need to do that, particularly as this year unfolds and we go into next year. But your future, your career, and the future of our business depends on us doing the right thing now, as we have done over the last 18 months and over the last 40 years. So knowing the extra pressures that you're under, your board have reviewed a number of things, but one in particular is the holiday quotas. And the new holiday days that we've increased over the last few weeks, that's a way of us saying, we know you're working harder. Thank you very much for that. Here's some extra holidays. Being closed through the whole of November, some of our stores being closed Christmas week of all weeks, and then being closed January, February, March, and half of April has meant that the number of opportunities we've had to sell through some of our older stock has been less. So the shops right now, your shop right now, you're telling me your SKU count is high because a lot of the items that are not going forward that have carried over from last year haven't sold through because we've been closed. So we've taken the decision to have a major clear out. You know that that's already started. Your sale items are already leaking through to you. We have reduced some 3,000 lines, the tail of all the bits and pieces where we've got predominantly 100 pieces in the business or less. Wherever we can, we've price pointed them. £1. You've got loads of items for £1. People say, what, £1? Yep, £1. No repricing to do. All the was prices have been taken away. Just £1. Stack them on the table. You'll have people just clearing the table because they will be deals too good to miss. You've then got £2 items, you've got £4 items, you've got £5 items, you've got £8, then you've got a whole load of items at 10, and then you've got a shed load of stuff which is now genuinely half price. So what you might choose to do when you get those tables back out is go by price points. Don't mix them up. Say everything £1, everything £5. Change the items from day to day. Why have a pound table on a Saturday? Have the pound table during the week when the children are in. Have a slightly higher price table, a £5 table or a £10 table at weekends. The other thing is we've got such a tail, so many odds and ends left with Funko. Loads and loads of Funko are now half price or better at £5. Have a £5 Funko table. Create a bit of an atmosphere to help us clear through some of those tails of stock. So pushing these items out now will give you greater amount of flexibility and shelf space as the new items continue to come in ready for the Christmas season. And pushing now will help us all, including you, to get your stock on the shelves. We're in the middle of, it's been going on now for probably 6 months, a big issue with containers. You've heard this issue about transport. Containers from the Far East are both delayed, we can't get the containers, and the price has gone up, in some cases 15 times, 16 times higher than the cost of a container a year ago. So we are going to see inflationary pressures coming through on stock. These things are not just unique to the toy trade, they're going to be happening in all items that are made in China. And where an item is low value and high cube, you're going to see exponential price increases. So you will see challenging prices coming through over the next few months. We've been reviewing the feedback from the recent survey, and we can see the challenges that COVID has had on many of you. We've had similar challenges. I think I've been challenged over COVID. I didn't want to be locked up for all those weeks, albeit I was still working from home. But it's just changed our routine. It's getting to us. It's niggling away. We want things to go back to the way that they were, but it's just not going to be that easy, not that quick, not if we're going to be observant in the way that we operate our lives to try and continue to maintain COVID. We can't afford to be reckless. As great as the football was, and I'm not a football fan, but seeing 60,000 people at Wembley, all crowded in, believe it or not, the day before and the day after we've got social distances made no sense at all. So we've got to be really cautious about how we manage COVID. We cannot as a country, and we definitely cannot as a business, afford to be locked down again. So our objective always has been and continues to be to survive as a business and to save jobs. Together we've achieved that. We've had to do some things that maybe didn't want to do. Maybe the lone working, when we were right in the depth of just trying to take some money to keep the cash flow operating. We wouldn't choose to do that as a norm, but I think some of our working practices have been challenged, and we've seen how some things can work in the new world. But life won't go back to the way it was. Retail has changed. Retail has been changing consistently over the last 40 years, and retail will continue to evolve. And for us to be successful, we can't afford to be a dinosaur. Dinosaurs like Debenhams, dinosaurs like Woolworths, dinosaurs like Toys R Us, and who knows, probably even John Lewis's. If you don't change fast enough, you won't survive. But the entertainer spirit will get us through. It's the way we developed this business over the last 40 years. But your well-being is important to us. And on the Entertainer, you will see lots and lots and lots of information about your well-being. How you can manage being calm. Phone numbers where you can ring people and get advice and support. Please use the information that Pete and the team have put together. We're just not trying to create a library of information. We want to create a library of information that's actively used that benefits you. So please consider your well-being. And if you want any help and guidance, go on to the Entertainer. And if you're wanting to actually speak to people, phone numbers of Validian and others are on the Entertainer right now. Please use those for your own benefit. But the business is in reasonable shape. I want to reassure you of that. You're in safe hands. I can't predict the future. I don't need another lockdown, but the business has really started well. And I want to again thank you for the part that you've played. We will be issuing the PRB bonus levels shortly. You might say, a bonus? Well, yeah, if we can keep this really good trading up, if we can maintain our costs, if we can maintain our margin, there's a strong possibility that maybe when we get to the end of this financial year, we might be able to declare a bonus again. We've got growth through both our stores and through our internet, and most importantly, through our growing number of partners, a growing number of Matalan shops, the 50 stores that we have at Homebase, the 8 trial stores in Asda, hopefully a number of stores with Marks & Spencer's on top of the Marks & Spencer's website we launched last year with ELC. There's so many opportunities, and as the company grows, there's opportunities for you to develop your career with us and step up into different positions as we advertise for maybe more PMMMs, maybe some more store managers within the Asda estate if more stores come on. There's loads of opportunities. Stick with us, go on the journey with us. So the journey that we're on, little did we know 40 years ago when Kath and I started with one store in Amersham, and our first year turning over £100,000, that 40 years later we'd have all the stores that you know about and be turning over well in excess of 200 million. It's a dream we could never have dreamed, and it's a dream we could never have achieved by ourselves. We've only achieved this because of your commitment. The number of you that are in the 10-year club, the number of you that have done 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, that's the commitment you've given to the Entertainer, and we are here to walk through the next period of life with you to support you in every way that we can. So thank you for choosing to develop your career with us. A really big thank you. We value you and your commitment. And I hope that if you reflect on the way that we've conducted ourselves over the last 18 months, that we've been there as best we can be with all that we could afford to do through the COVID support, through the furlough support, with the holiday increase of the last few weeks. We're not trying to hold anything back, but we have to be prudent. We're working through really challenging times. So thank you again for keeping those shops open. Thank you again for all your commitment. I've been around a few shops recently. They're looking stunning. You are great retailers, and I want to thank you from everybody at head office for the work that you do. Everything we do here is only so that you've got the right product at the right time at the right price to make those increased sales. Thank you.